falls. No, no, no. Keep the faith, you'll have it all. Slow, slow, slow. Listen to the rivers and the streams that you used to.
Welcome to episode 33 of My Views Extended. I'm your host, Nadia, and thank you so much for tuning in this week. If you are a new listener, thank you so much for checking me out. And if you're a return listener, thank you so much for coming back. Aside from this podcast, which is posted on Tuesdays, you can learn more about me on my blog at nadiadanella.com, where I post on Mondays, Wordless Monday, through pictures. My current obsessions are flowers, greenery, the outdoors, etc. Wednesdays on nadiadanella.com is where I focus on various reviews and DIYs. There will not be a post this Wednesday, just every other Wednesday, because for now I don't have something to review on a consistent basis. And please bear with me as I work out the kinks in my schedule. I hope that sooner rather than later I will have a set schedule for all of my platforms, the blog, podcast, and the YouTube cooking channel, and all of the other projects that I'm working on outside of those three platforms. Thursdays is where I post recipe links back to nadiadanella.com for printable recipes from Nadia's Kitchen Creations, which is my new cooking channel on YouTube. I'm also in the process of creating a newsletter once a month where everything that I've done, or most of the things, the highlights that I've done throughout the month, is going to be in one place, with of course some extra bonus material that I hope is of use or some interest to you or anybody else that you think would be interested. Please share with them. You can also keep up with me on Facebook, Pinterest, Pinstagram, and Twitter, and I will leave links to all of the social media sites in the show notes. Actually, I probably should have said this at the beginning, but if you're new to this podcast or whether you're not new and are wondering what the heck I blather on about every week, I'll give you a little rundown before I start this week's show. This podcast is a platform where I share, like this title states, my views extended of our world in a different platform other than with blogging alone, because I know that some people like to read, other people like to listen, other people like to watch. So I just wanted a listen platform to share what is going on and my views of that. I talk about world issues, not just what occurs in my own home country of Canada. I currently reside in British Columbia, but I was born and raised in Ontario, Canada. So I went from a East Coast person to now I am a West Coast person. Some of the things I discuss on this podcast are silly or not that serious, but that's okay because I do like a balance of all issues. As long as it interests me or my heart calls me to speak on it, I will. Sometimes it simply means I cannot sleep or an issue stays in my mind throughout the day. So that is a little bit of what this blog is about. I will also continue to not curse. I'll do my best. I'm not perfect. I just think that it's important to have a podcast that can be listened to by the whole family, out in public or in a professional setting. I know that swearing is not a big deal for many people these days, but I like to believe that there is a time and place for swearing or cursing. I'm not perfect, and I do swear sometimes, but I try not to do it in public or in certain settings or around certain people, like my older aunts and uncles. So that is for now. If you have any questions, you can contact me at myviewsextended@gmail.com for any questions, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. More high-speed train news coming out of Canada by students at the University of Waterloo. Again, this is exciting news for me because I hate being stuck in one place for long periods of time. An hour car ride is long for me. Flying across the country was horrible as well. When I came from Ontario to BC, I felt a little crazy by the end of it. I couldn't imagine how some people fly to New Zealand, or Australia, or where else is far. I don't know where else is far in the world, but yeah, even though New Zealand is on my bucket list, I definitely will have to prepare myself mentally for that one. Anyway, the student team at the University of Waterloo are testing a high-speed pod, and this testing will be done in California. The university team is called Waterloo. They are one of 31 teams that made it to the the final of the SpaceX Hyperloop pod competition. Unfortunately, it will be several more years before it is available. I believe other companies, financiers, all that stuff that are involved in it, I think it's the time frame that they gave it is 2020. This train, when it is ready, could travel at over 1,200 kilometers per hour, which would make it fast enough to carry passengers from Toronto to Vancouver in 3 hours, which is pretty cool. That could cut travel time in half, because I think it's just, whether you're coming or going, it's between 6.5 to 7-ish hours from Toronto to Vancouver or back. So yay for me and people like me who cannot stand long distance travel. Possible specs of this high-speed pod, and I'll just quote some of the information here. Works by setting a levitating pod inside a tube from which the air pressure has been sucked out, and those pods are moved using an electric motor. The pods will have room enough for 26 people, which is kind of small, but I guess private, more a large private plane. And passengers would be able to walk into a pod with room for luggage mirrors, which would give the impression of a larger space, and it would have panoramic windows to give them a wider view. And you can learn more about this at huffingtonpost.ca, and I will leave links in the show notes for that. So it's 2016, so it's not that far away. As long as testing goes well and nobody gets killed or things don't get blown up, it should be here sooner than we think. I finally went to see another movie this weekend, and like I said, when I see things or read things, I'm going to share it on here, my thoughts. So this is a short review of The Secret Life of Pets, and I'll just read the little blurb from imdb.com. The Secret Life of Pets is about a terrier named Max's quiet life is upended when his owner takes in Duke, a stray who Max instantly dislikes, and of course the many adventures and characters that they and we meet along the way. I went to a showing at 11:15 in the morning, which I love. If you don't want to worry about crowds, or you just want to not have to wait until the evening, morning showings are great. I think I went to 10:30 showings too, and they're great. Anyway, the theater was almost empty, and that was great. And like most of the kids' movies that I go to, there were mostly adults in attendance. And I had no idea how long the movie was, and I didn't bother to look it up ahead of time because I was laughing throughout the entire thing. 87 minutes, by the way. The Secret Life of Pets was funny, it was witty, it was sarcastic, and I heard that a lot of people did not like the movie, but I thought it was great. I laughed throughout the entire thing, and I was able to forget about the outside world. So for me, that is a hit movie in my opinion. Like a lot of kids' movies these days, the storyline is geared towards adults, so many young kids may not understand a lot of what is being said, the adult references. But that's okay. If you have to sit through a kids' movie and you're not a fan, you might as well enjoy it too. My favorite character by far was the bunny, voiced by Kevin Hart. He had a screw loose. The best surprise of the movie was the tattooed pig. His story was funny, but I won't give it away here. You'll have to see the movie to find out how and why there's a tattooed pig. I personally don't allow myself to look at more than one movie trailer of any movie that I want to see or read reviews on purpose. If a movie looks good to me, I've missed too many movies in the past listening to other people and then later found out how great they were years later. I would give The Secret Life of Pets 4 out of 5, and this will definitely be in my DVD collection. It would have gotten 4.5 out of 5, but the buttholes on the cats needed to be larger. Seriously, every cat guardian knows this. They wink at you and you can't help but look like a car accident. Go see it. The Secret Life of Pets is worth it. The latest hashtag. I'm not usually a hashtag person. I normally don't really think about them, but to me this hashtag was important. My opinion on Twitter's latest hashtag of loud black girls changed from negative to positive when I learned what it really was about. I, like I'm sure many of you, confuse the loud black girls hashtag with the angry black girls hashtag, and not just hashtag, just angry black girls in general. One that the hashtag angry black girls, or just saying being one that I'm not a fan of in life. When you are loud or obnoxious, talk over people. That's not good for the most part, in my opinion. The world generally tunes you out, or worse, they're happy that you have fulfilled the stereotype of what Black women are in their minds. Of course, there are always exceptions to the rule with the angry Black girl or the loud Black girl, but I will say that, and should say that, when someone says as long as they're not breaking the law, it's really none of my business. But here I go anyways. You know, if you've been around enough Black people throughout your life, you know one of these loud Black girls or angry Black girls, and I know this can pertain to any other race or culture of people. I'm just speaking about that because that's what I am. You know I personally have friends and family who fit this description to a T, and I personally didn't want to fit into the negative stereotype of the angry Black girl, but the loud Black girl I will gladly take. Why? Not because not being a loud Black girl does not mean that I am timid, that I do not speak my mind, that I let people run over me, that I do not stand up for what I believe, as of course everyone should within the confines of the law. Some examples of the hashtag loud Black girl that I pulled from Twitter over the weekend. I absolutely love them, and they literally summed it up in the 40 characters or less. And I'll just quote them and share my thoughts. Being a loud Black girl to me is not just about the volume of my voice, but being vocal if I am dissatisfied, even in my home. Which I especially love the one in my home. Home is the place that everyone should be able to be their true selves. Unfortunately, I've seen too many people being hushed in their own sanctuary, which is quite sad. I will not suppress my voice for fear of being labeled as the angry Black woman, which I was always worried about. Ridiculous, I know. This is true even though I personally don't want to be labeled as the angry Black woman. I do worry about the label all of the time. Censoring yourself throughout your life is tiring instead of just being able to be you, and I'm working on that part of myself. Loud Black girls are the reason Black Lives Matter is making progress. Black men should be praising these women, not tearing them down. I agree with this one again. We need to lift each other up in the good times and in the bad times. I have been guilty of slamming Black men in the past, but I always have and will continue to praise them when they are doing the right thing. They call you passionate when they agree with you, loud when they don't. Shakes my head. Loud Black girls. Always. It's a great way to get us to shut up. Unfortunately, shut up because we don't want to have that stereotype. Unfortunately, it works for many of us. I unfortunately was one of the ones, but not any longer. I thankfully caught on to being called loud or passionate or bitter, realizing that was just to quiet me, and I keep talking. You'll always be too loud for a world that never intended on listening to you, loud Black girls. Stay in your lane, stay in your place. Do as you're told or are expected and everything will be fine and dandy. Nope, I will not. My voice is just as important and worthy as everyone else's. If I have something of importance to share, I will voice it. And one of the most, not necessarily favorite, but one of the really powerful ones was agency, plain and simple. When my skin is Black, my quiet is loud, my confidence is threatening, my joy an affront. Loud Black girls. I loved this one. My joy an affront. It took me years not to be bothered by loud laughter in the public, whether coming from others or from myself. Who says that I get to dictate when someone lets out their happiness? Why are we upset that someone is laughing loudly? Why are we upset that someone is happy and experiencing joy? I think that says a lot more about us than about them. Don't get me wrong, I was raised in a home that ladies should be quiet. Well, at least publicly. Don't laugh too loud, don't speak too loud. And thankfully, I don't know what age it was, but I was like, why can't I talk? Why can't I laugh loudly from the depths of my belly? Why not? So I let that go a long time ago. And the person who raised me let that go too eventually in their later life. And I know that it's a cultural thing. For many people, it was for me, and some people are never going to get over that. That's the way it should be. You shouldn't be loud. You shouldn't bring attention to yourself. And I guess if that's how you want to live your life, but to tell somebody else to not laugh, not show joy, no, we don't have enough happiness and joy in this world. So I just want to know what they're happy about. I think that's awesome. What made you so happy? That's a beautiful thing. I'm learning to love laughter, even the loud belly laughs. Some people might say they're vulgar. I love hearing laughter. Thank God that you're happy. I'm happy that you're happy. What I'm grateful for this past week. I'm grateful for the change that I'm allowing in my work posting schedule on my various platforms, like I spoke about at the beginning. A little more focused, less all over the place, or rather trying to do everything at once. My stubbornness slows my progression sometimes, well, more than sometimes, a lot, but I'm working on that every day. Growth. As long as I'm alive, I will continue to grow and evolve, being the best person that I can be. That is what I am grateful for this week. Thank you for tuning in to episode 33 of My Views Extended. I would love to hear feedback and comments on what you think of this podcast and the topics that I've discussed this week. You can listen to My Views Extended at nadiadanelle.com and on YouTube, where you can subscribe, like, rate, and or leave a comment, and where closed captioning is available. I will leave links in the show notes, and as more listening platforms are added or changed, I will let you know. Till next time, this is Nadia.